Hey, this is Mike from Junkie on Crafts and Builds, and this is the impressions video of the Marvel Legends 85th Celebration Wolverine. So this is kind of a special version in regards to this is a new sculpt with new articulation that we haven't seen in a Wolverine figure yet. And this is going back now to a windowed package. You can see exactly what you're getting with the figure and all or the majority of their accessories that they show. This is not the only line we're going to see this in. Here is a G.I. Joe Classified Series figure. Spoiler on what's coming up next. One side it has the cartoon image or art image and the other side is not. But they're all sporting the same kind of look in regards to the main picture. Here, no real bio anymore and all the legalese across the bottom. Now, one thing I will say I like is that it appears they're doing a nub here at the bottom to allow for easy access to pull this figure from the bottom, which I do like because that is the proper way to remove a figure from the box. Speaking of which, let's get him out of his. And here's Wolverine out of the box, and you know, overall, it's a really impressive sculpt. This is a lot of new engineering that has gone into our little feral Wolverine guy here, and it works for the most part. Aesthetically, the uniform here has a lot of sculpted details in place as well as just the paint, and it looks really sharp. He definitely looks like he came out of that John Cassaday artwork for the Astonishing Xmen, especially with this unmasked head sculpt. The Legends team has been doing a bang-up job in making that photoreal look. Some people might say it's a little too realistic for a comic book character. It's a very interesting conversation to have within the community on how cartoony you want a figure. Again, recently we had the X-Men 97 Wolverine head, and it definitely is much more animated, cartoonish, comic booky look compared to this very stern head sculpt. The aesthetics of it are really nice. You know, he's got that right height. A lot of really cool sculpted details in regards to the suit and wrinkles and pleats and creases all over the uniform. Makes it a little bit of a challenge if you're trying to, you know, pose him and you break a lot of these lines. It's kind of unfortunate. It's not the first time we've seen something like that, but it's kind of what happens when you have a colorful uniform to wear versus a much more utilitarian design. Yeah, not bad. I have a little bit of a QC stuff with mine. These claws obviously are not coming straight out of the box. So I'll tighten those up after this impressions video, but they do look good. Definitely looking sharp and falling in line with this whole, it comes out of the nut in between the knuckles versus the top of the palm. The belt itself is really nicely painted, nice and sharp. It is glued into place here on the back of the body. All in all, not too bad. I do have some more QC in regards to, I'm starting to get a little bit of a rub from the body onto my bicep here, just from manipulating him around. And I got a little bit of a rub here on this yellow piece. You know, the paint didn't kind of go over completely for the yellow. Got a little bit of bleed over and a scratch. Overall, he's not too bad of a figure. We got this detail of the hair painted on, as well as the sculpt, you know, into these biceps here. They can tampo and deco across elbows. They just can't do it with tattoos, apparently. But I digress. So let's kind of go through the accessories that he has. And we start off, obviously, he's Wolverine. He's got to have a pair of exposed claws with fists, and they are on horizontal hinges, which look really good. Next, we have a pair of fists, because what is Wolverine without any fists? They do, I guess, are proportional. At first, they felt a little large on him, but then looking at the rest of this body and the proportions, you know, I guess it'll fit. Next, we get some new hand options for Wolverine, including this left hand with a pointer finger. So he's definitely trying to get your attention, like this. Finally, for our hand options, we have this right hand with this open palm expressive look that you can use for him, whether he's grabbing something, pushing something, or whatever. And like I was saying before, with this unmasked head, looks really good. But we also have, of course, we have a Wolverine masked head. And this one is pretty interesting in the fact that it's not separate pieces. It is all painted here around the face, and the yellow for the mask itself. So it's all in black plastic, but the expression is fairly well done. The eyes are a nice crisp white, as well as the teeth. So it doesn't look too bad. I don't have any issues per se, other than the skin may be a little thin on the edges here by the mask. You can kind of see the black bleed over a little bit. And there's a touch overspray here at the bottom of his chin, but overall not a bad looking alternate head. Before we get too much further, we have a recurring segment here that we haven't done in a while, and we're going to find out if this Wolverine can be customizable, and we call this Will He Vala. So since it comes with an alternate head, we're just going to go ahead and put it on my trusty Swarm Trooper, and lo and behold, can he Vala? The answer is yes. Now, it does sit a touch loose on the Swarm Trooper's head, so you do get a little bit of reach twist here. So, but still, he can look up really well, and the head isn't coming off. So, great option for customizers. You now have a new head option for your figures. So, going through articulation, we'll start by checking out the head. He can only look up that far, and he can only look down that far. He's got some tilt. Let's see what we got underneath the hood. So we have a double ball peg system here, and it's got room, but the way that the sculpt of the head is and the height of this neck, it really limits your position. This is a time where if you were going to do a combo, you would do a ball peg going up to a ball hinge here for the neck. That will allow you to actually look up, because as we go through articulation, you know, one thing that we see with Wolverine is that he likes to crouch, and not being able to look up is a severe detriment in my opinion. T-pose, easily reached, and like I said, we got the bicep rotation here, double jointed elbows. These shoulder pads are connected inside the arm. These new butterflies, this is the new engineering. This is one of the highlights that they wanted to show, that you can go and he can reach across his body really well. Definitely looks imposing, you know, reaching out, especially with these huge freaking traps. If you were kind of reaching around there like that, he's looking jacked as all get out. That rage is going. Back, you can go back that far, which again is a nice wide stance if you're going to have him like lunging towards someone. They had the promo image where you could have him going leaping forward with his claws going towards his target. So the engineering of it is there. It's a nice touch. It definitely gives you some range that you didn't have before with Wolverines. Again, proportionally, that biceps is huge, man. That is really distracting, in my opinion. All right, so upper torso, we have some more engineering changes. We now have a ball peg going up into the torso, and we have an inverted ab crunch here. So with both those engaged, you can now bend down that far, and you can bend back that far as well. So again, what you don't get in the head, you can manipulate the body to try to help you get that extra vantage point up, or looking up or down. Again, if you want to have them crouched, this is how you're going to do it. You're going to have to take your photos or kind of look at them at a lower angle up to look at them. This ball peg gives you a little bit of teapot, just a touch. The belt, like I said, is a glued piece, so that's not going to move around. There is no waist swivel with that, so any type of angles you want to get, you're going to break the sculpt by moving that upper ball peg area for the torso, so that's something you have to consider as well. Legs, no drop downs, so you can reach up that far. Nothing in the back because of his booty. Again, we have a thigh swivel, which, you know, you start going, it breaks the sculpt really bad, especially when you have this blue accent here and the crease. Any sort of twist is going to break that sculpt really bad, but that's the price, right? Double jointed pinless knees get you back that far. Again, almost kicking himself. Proportionally, again, the lower legs are long. He's got these squat upper thighs. Again, I know where he's supposed to be a short guy, so it kind of balances out by the looks. You know, it's not horrible. Big travesty here. We have no boot swivel or lower ankle swivel at all. Severely limits like some of your posing options. But we have a toe tilt down, toe tilt up, and your rocker. So while we have some new engineering and some new articulation, we also lose some key articulation points, in my opinion, which really nullifies a lot of the good that this new sculpt has. So now we have articulation out of the way, let's do some size comparisons. I think the most popular comparison we can do right now is with the 85th anniversary Wolverine versus the X-Men 97 Wolverine. And we know this guy has been near impossible to find. The popularity of the cartoon has brought a lot of attention to Marvel Legends and the X-Men specifically. But there are some key things to point out between these two. One, he does have the ball hinge in the neck, so that gives him a greater range up and a super range down. We have the waist rotation and the antiquated ab crunch, but again, that ball hinge makes that crouch much more palatable when you start posing him. Another key thing with this figure, we do have a boot swivel. Again, severely lacking in that. So it comes down to your preference, whether you like the classic look here for the cartoon in the muted colors, or you want the new engineering and more realistic appearance of Wolverine. Next comparisons, we go into the MCU world with the Spider-Man Final Flight suit and the Deadpool Legacy Hugh Jackman Wolverine. Reaching into our female lines, we have the deluxe anniversary edition of the Black Widow and the Valaverse Bloody Pandora. And the final comparison is here with the Astonishing Xmen Decoed Cyclops and Emma Frost. So final impressions of the 85th anniversary Wolverine. He's good, but not great. Not the way that they, meaning Hasbro, was hyping this guy up in regards to the new articulation, new sculpt, all this new dazzly fun stuff. What they forgot was some key elements that made Wolverine cool. And that is just the ability to really just get into that feral position. And that includes being able to look up. I don't understand why that's so hard. I understand the desire to put new engineering in regards to double ball pegs and all this other stuff. But you have to design that well enough so you're not limiting the customer in how they want to pose and play with their figures. The neck articulation really sucks, but it's also the fact that we don't have a boot swivel when we just had a Wolverine come out this year that has a boot swivel and really gives you a lot of variety in posing. When you have something that works, use it. Don't try to over-engineer, because then you start forgetting the purpose of what you're doing. Aesthetic wise, you know, the new sculpted features in this Wolverine's uniform is a nice touch. That also comes with some detriments when you want to articulate some of the joints at the thighs. You would definitely break the sculpt. If you want to do a torso twist, you're definitely breaking the sculpt. It balances out with like the detail on his arms with the hair painted on. It's balances, and right now it's not perfectly balanced in my opinion. So is he worth it? If you don't have a Wolverine, you know, like you can't find the X-Men 97 one, and you really like this deco, the darker yellow and blue really stand out in comparison to this bright yellow and really palish green blue. He's a decent enough figure that if you want to get him, if you want to see have this new articulation and play around with it, go for it. I think he's kind of sold out on Amazon, which is where I got this guy from. I'm not sure if BBTS has him available yet or not, or if he's sold out again. You just have to go to your major e-retailers, or if you luck out and find him in the wild, good luck on that. Is he necessary? I can't answer that one for you. So that's everything I have right now, guys. As always, thank you for watching. Share this video out with your friends, and if I've earned your subscription, and we'll talk again soon. Bye.